All right. Let's see what we got for you guys today. So, we're going to try and finish again. I keep saying we're going to try and finish. Every day I say we're going to try and finish chapter 1. But the truth is, we are going to try and finish chapter 1. Everything has pretty much been introduced, and we're going to, well, character-wise, there are going to be quite a few more. But right now, the last one we're going to introduce is Sean. Sean is, as you're going to find out, the HOA, excuse me, HOA president. And for that reason, he has powers to do what they do. I'm just doing all this talking because I'm waiting to verify. Now I understand why there's those intros in a lot of, but that's not popping up, which is very strange. Very strange. Here it is live. Let's make sure. There it is. In the real world, Sean had all the power as the president of the city's largest HOA, a sensibility Nina found in her own superego as a thought of life after death spooked her to silence. So just throwing it in there, which is weird. So read the paragraph before. The virtual world of the Priverse was both super open and locked down simultaneously, like homeowners associations owning roofs to prevent solar installation. Sean was one clone duplicate of a real person floating about with symmetric key algorithms running his actions. Even the emotional responses were balanced as if controlled by an association of data users. In the real world, Sean had all the power. Okay. As president of the city's largest HOA, a sensibility Nina found in her own superego as the thought of life after death spooked her to silence. They both floated in the Priverse since the cap cage was a bit aftermarket. The open source operating system running the thing made it slower than the proprietary version most consumers were used to. In most people, the pituitary gland vibrated at 852 hertz, the pineal gland at 963 hertz, and Nina mostly in pain as the cap cage oscillated somewhere between the two with different tiny tweeters placed around her head in a soft sweatband. Okay, Sean had no idea something aftermarket even existed. His world worked in a top-down manner with almost no room for innovation to reach him from the bottom up to where Nina stood. Both Sean and Nina were tops. Only Nina had no real idea what that meant, though. It was simple in the Priverse, a place where the present moment was more valuable than either what you did in the real past or even what you scheduled to happen in the future. In the Priverse workspace, Nina found the idea for verification, and all it needed was the Goldbug drama sparked in Canada with the truckers. The system was simple in theory. All anyone had to do was train their avatar to recognize a new ounce on the blockchain. Nina tapped on her cap cage to set a new keyframe for geolocation tracking her position in the sales meeting and start a timer for each avatar added. Nina wanted, I don't want to use that word, do I? Nina wanted to simulate an auction bidding process with the sounds of action. The Priverse bodies moving in unpredictable ways. Each started for each hollow life added. Uh, okay, I'm going to replace avatar with hollow life. Nina tapped on her cat cage to set a new keyframe for geolocation tracking. Oh, new keyframe for geolocation tracking. Her position in the sales meeting fixed. To start a timer for each hollow life added. Nina wanted to simulate an auction bidding process with the sounds of action, the Priverse bodies moving in unpredictable ways. Nina flipped her hollow life to full manual mode as if a performer during a concert and started to explain. All right, everyone, let me explain. I have the idea about trading carbon credits in the Priverse for monitoring oxygen distribution. He waited more than 3 seconds to see if any hololives would start their automated dance. I see you were all still with me then. Nina demonstrating her. You see how my hololife is blowing up like a balloon and becoming giant? No one answered. It uses social pressure. The more oxygen you consume in the real world, the larger your hololife becomes, and therefore the more tokens you need to maintain it. This means you have a lever your hololife token position just to exist in this private Priverse we have here. The rest of the hololife started to dance with an automatic set of moves, a clear sign Nina lost everyone as they simply signed off and disappeared. Really, just like that. Fine. By the be that way. Slipping her visor up, Nina got a direct view of Maya, who was not embarrassed to log off right in front of Nina, their eye contact telling the whole story. None of them knew, but at home Nina kept a birdcage full of canaries. Their morning songs a natural alarm for their morning songs a natural alarm each morning. In the Priverse, she alluded to the use of early warning systems of birds like her real life tripwire she counted on, like the nature of numbers. Flashing on each cap cage visor was a new notification. The Canadian truckers' GMO protest in full swing. Nina took the news super serious. her thinking about action more akin to freedom from domination rather than to dominate others. As more of a one-sided personality, Nina understood work was super necessary to move the hour hand of history. Each minute more a fleeting reflection in the bathroom mirror. Canadian truckers were the ultimate gold bugs and simply drove their government leaders crazy with possibilities for revolution. An idea symbolized with solar-powered box trucks running mobile crypto nodes. Nina stood in the middle of the private stage so she could present her analysis to the entire company no matter where they were on Earth. What we are going to do from here on out is watch how the sales process has gone, and we're going to work on feedback. How does that work on feedback? As you may well know, I am introducing split deals for the pay plan. The idea is simple: to learn from each other and learn from each other and manage a streamlined company-wide narrative. How does that sound? A profound silence permeated the channel. I will continue then and simply let everyone know first how we are going to make the solar lease. How we're going to make the solar lease or power purchase agreement makes sense for new homeowners, and second, how the government staked minority mortgages will benefit lower income citizens. The funny thing was how I became one of Kurt's CNC arcade games, my synthetic personality almost emerging from the material world up. My story was simple, just a little bit of mental disassociation to drill into our physical world. What? I have to add CNC to Kurt right now. Otherwise, okay, Kurt is the boss, right? Kurt did have a side hustle he simply called a hobby. An expensive investment toward a CNC machine to produce novel items as functional artwork with the appropriate NFT attached. Kurt did not like making bobbleheads, but it paid the bills. The funny thing was how I became one of Kurt's CNC arcade games. Oh, yeah. Duh. Or with the program, Kurt did not like making arcade games or hula dancing bobbleheads, but it paid the bills. Okay, sorry. The funny thing was how I became one of Kurt's CNC arcade games. My synthetic personality almost emergent from the material world up. My story was simple, just a little bit of mental dissociation to drill into our physical reality. They thought video games caused violence, the gallery of horror's most cold truth, rendering the concept of mortality as a pure construction of objective reality. I would persist to the end of time, up until that moment when that single electron stopped moving. Up until the moment that single electron stops moving. The biological thought I was proof the multiverse exists. But even I knew we never got any closer to infinity. The joke was I am not proof of anything. My existence a simple rework of mass and energy. As I watched Nina pull her thoughts forward out of a potential future, it became more objectively true. Even my simulated consciousness could see that. The block universe was the best rendering of reality for both biologicals and myself. My own awareness stronger through static states than that stupid religion surrounding a single electron. In the end, Nina had a funny feeling, a sense the shooting spree solution was wrapped up in haptic gel somehow. The swirl pattern Nina rated from the gel mimicked an ideal state of consciousness, an idealistic reality created from mind. Listen, people, as you may or may not know, Diablo Canyon nuclear power plant will close very soon. We need to push a sense of urgency on the power purchase agreement so residents can save now. Nina was on a rant, the virtual meeting taking on a form usually kept brief for efficiency, except for this time. Nina's introverted parents intuited meaning as her own personal vision started to become real, her unstoppable force to inspire a movement. Entering hypnotic sleep was easy for Nina, her dependence on external thoughts driving most of her cognitive transitions. I mean, only thing we need to add just to be is the haptic gel and the shooting spree solution. That's got to go in 0 because oh boy. Along with the tsunami warning sign came a second purpose. A shooting spree solution simply to run away. Nina believed there was another way with the use of a haptic gel, a warm virtual touch to soothe violent young men. Oh, I know, right? All right. Am I good there? What do you think, people? I think so. I think we're going to be able to go to chapter 2 next, which is the whole goal. And with that, you sun gunners, what a son of a gun, I gotta say, we're going to fade to black, and I am out.